Tēnā koutou katoa. This Sunday, our Lenten journey takes a little bit of a change. We get a glimpse of Jesus in glory as we hear in the Gospel of his being transfigured on the mountain. Often in our journeys with Jesus, we get these moments of clarity. So let's join Peter, James and John and go up the Mount of the Transfiguration. St. Luke records, "Now about 8 days after this had been said, he took with him Peter and John and James and went up the mountain to pray. As he prayed, the aspect of his face was changed and his clothing became brilliant as lightning. Suddenly, there were 2 men there talking to him. They were Moses and Elijah, appearing in glory, and they were speaking of his passing, which he was to accomplish in Jerusalem." It must have been an amazing moment for those disciples. Here they were just walking up this mountain with Jesus, and then suddenly they caught a glimpse of him in a way that they'd never seen before. They saw his divine life shining forth in glory. We too are on a pilgrimage with Jesus, the great journey that we call life. And every now and then we have moments, those moments where we get an insight or something becomes incredibly clear to us. Maybe in other times it's a feeling of peace or joy or fear being removed from us. And we know that somehow we've encountered the very presence of God. The encounter on the mountaintop just didn't stop there. Peter and his companions were very heavy with sleep, but they kept awake and saw his glory and the 2 men standing with him. As these were leaving him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is wonderful for us to be here. So let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." Wouldn't it be great if in those moments of encounter that we have, that we could stay there in that moment, where our faith wouldn't be a matter of questioning anymore, that we'd be sure of everything. But no, these encounters are fleeting, passing moments. And then comes the reality of going back to our ordinary day life. And often we can be left wondering, did that really happen or did I imagine it? The encounter for Peter, James and John wasn't to end there, however. As he spoke, a cloud came and covered them with shadow. And when they went into the cloud, the disciples were afraid. And a voice came from the cloud saying, "This is my son, the chosen one. Listen to him." And after the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. The disciples kept silence, and at that time told no one what they had seen. The cloud is significant. Remember when God led the people of Israel out of Egypt and through the wilderness towards the promised land? It was the divine cloud, the Shekinah, that led the people. And so this being shrouded in the divine cloud and then the voice of God speaking to the disciples interpreted what they had just seen. Often when we have an encounter with Christ, we somehow know what the meaning was for us. But it is a matter for us to listen, to really be attuned to how God is working in our lives. Because God works in the ordinary, but blesses us with extraordinary graces and revelations to help us on the journey. In this year of Jubilee, one of the features of Jubilee is to go on pilgrimage. And maybe your parish or maybe you individually are going to be doing a pilgrimage this year. I'm leading a pilgrimage from Lyon through to Rome, Lyon being our mother church in New Zealand. But in pilgrimages I've led before, I've always been amazed at how the Lord touches people on the pilgrimage in really specific and unexpected ways, and how those people react to these many revelations that have been given to them. You see, we believe in a God who journeys with us, like those two disciples who walked to Emmaus after Jesus rose from the dead. They didn't recognize Jesus until the breaking of the bread, and then suddenly everything made sense. And often that's a fact in our spiritual life as well. These encounters give us hope. They point us to a life beyond this life, to a God who loves us and a God whose desire is to save. May God bless you all.